The lights inside the Peacock Theater were low, and everyone waited in silence. Jack White, wearing his red suit and white tie, stood alone under the bright stage lights. But even though he was by himself, everyone could feel Meg White's presence. It had been almost 15 years since Meg had disappeared from public life. No one had seen her on stage, no interviews, nothing. So when Jack walked up to give his speech at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, people wondered if this could be the moment she finally came back. Then Jack spoke, and what he said surprised everyone. He told the crowd that Meg could not be there that night. But then he smiled and said something that made the whole room cheer. Meg had actually edited his speech from her quiet home in Detroit. She even fixed his punctuation. That one tiny detail said everything. Meg might have left the spotlight, but she was still a part of Jack's story, still part of their story. Then Jack began reading something special. It was a short story, a kind of message that he had written for Meg a long time ago but never sent. His voice trembled a little as he read it. The story was about a boy and a girl who built a parade float together behind a tree in their yard. They worked hard side by side, proud of what they created. It was small, but it was theirs. Everyone in the theater knew exactly what he was talking about. It was the story of the White Stripes. The audience was quiet. You could almost feel the emotion in the air. This was more than an acceptance speech. It was Jack White's goodbye, his thank you, and his love letter to Meg, the woman who helped create one of the most unique bands in music history. Before Jack's speech, Iggy Pop had started the ceremony. He led the crowd in the famous Seven Nation Army chant, the song that everyone in the world knows even if they do not know who wrote it. Then Iggy said something that made people nod and smile. Meg was the rocket fuel that launched Jack's guitar into the sky. He reminded everyone that the magic of the White Stripes came from both of them, Jack's wild guitar and Meg's simple, steady drumming. Meg has not been seen on a stage since 2009, when she and Jack played We Are Going to Be Friends on Conan O'Brien's last show. That performance was quiet, almost tender, and it turned out to be their last one together. When the White Stripes broke up in 2011, they said they wanted to protect what was beautiful about their band. The truth was, Meg was tired of fame. She was shy, calm, and never comfortable being a star. While Jack loved performing, Meg preferred silence. Even though she disappeared, her influence never did. At the Rock Hall ceremony, the performances were full of emotion. Olivia Rodrigo and Feist sang We Are Going to Be Friends, a song about simple childhood memories. A perfect choice. Olivia grew up listening to the White Stripes. She said their music taught her that songs do not have to be complicated to be powerful. Then the band 21 Pilots performed Seven Nation Army with just drums and bass, another two-person band honoring the most famous two-person band ever. Fans online wondered if Meg might appear during their set, but she did not. She stayed hidden just like always. Still, the night was not about sadness. It was about what Jack and Meg created together. Back in the early days, they were just two Detroit kids making music in a garage. Jack's fiery guitar mixed punk, blues, and country. Meg's drumming was simple but strong. She did not try to show off. She just played what the song needed. Some people made fun of her for not being flashy, but real musicians understood her brilliance. Even drummers from legendary bands defended her. Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers said she was amazing. Questlove from The Roots said critics did not get it. And Iggy Pop summed it up perfectly that night, saying Meg hit the drums like they were supposed to be hit. She was not trying to be anyone else. She was just Meg White. The White Stripes started out playing tiny bars in Detroit. Their red, white, and black colors, their mysterious brother and sister story, and their raw sound made them unforgettable. 6 albums later, they changed rock music forever. Their biggest hit, Seven Nation Army, became something much bigger than the band. It is chanted in sports stadiums all around the world, proof that their music reached everyone, even people who do not know their names. At the end of Jack's speech, he looked out at the crowd and shared one last message, not just for fans but for every young artist watching. He said, "Get your hands dirty. Forget about screens. Go to your garage, your bedroom, anywhere, and make something. Get obsessed. Get passionate. The world wants to see what you can create." The crowd stood and clapped. It was not the reunion everyone hoped for, but it was something even deeper, a reminder that the White Stripes were always about creation, love, and honesty. Meg may never return to the stage, but her touch was still there, in every word Jack spoke, in every note played, and in every heart that listened that night. From her quiet home in Detroit, Meg made sure Jack's story, their story, was told the right way. Maybe that invisible teamwork, that silent understanding between them, is what made the White Stripes so special. They did not need to stand side by side anymore. The music they made together already said everything. And maybe, just maybe, that is the most perfect ending of all.